you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
Welcome back to the Throne of the Dragon podcast, the show that covers each and every episode of HBO's House of the Dragon. And in the off season, we are covering every chapter of Fire and Blood. I'm Josh, and with me as always is Curtis. How's it going, buddy?
Whoa, my hand. My hand.
What?
Behind the curtain. What's up?
What up?
Sup, sup. Sup, sup. Sup, sup.
What up?
What up? White male.
Curtis, did you know that the Iron Throne should go to the man strong enough to take it? Did you know that?
Are you suggesting that I should have it over you?
I mean, it's fictional, so
So they say.
that was I've been starting out with a quote. That was one that struck me going through it a couple times. Is Maegor's response to the succession in this chapter.
It's not for the lighthearted. I mean, we obviously see what happens when Aenys gets it,
Yeah.
It quickly crumbles underneath him.
Yeah. We wanted to break this chapter, the Sons of the Dragon, up into two parts. It's a long chapter. It's about, I think on Audible, it was an hour 45.
It was, yeah.
Kind of a slow
I think
read.
I best say on my Kindle app, it was like 2 hours long to
Yeah.
read.
And I can't remember how many
Which I don't
pages in book it is, but
It's quite a bit.
it's the
It's
biggest
over-
one
it's over
so
50,
far.
isn't it?
Yeah, oh, yeah, I think so.
That's what I was thinking.
But the more I thought about it, the more it made sense to do the second part solely focused on Maegor, and everything that kind of comes during his reign.
Right.
And the first part here just kind of covering, I guess, post Dornish War, the first Dornish War, and covering Aegon's death up through Aenys' death. And before I go any further, Curtis, why are there two sigils behind me? What's going on there? It's
Well, I was going to ask you, why do you have two? Does it have to do with one of them?
We've both got one of them,
right?
and that's who?
The one behind me?
Yeah.
Isn't that's Aegon's, isn't it?
Well,
The original?
that's just the main sigil for House Targaryen.
Right. So what's the one with the black dragons with the red background?
You care to take a guess?
Kit Harington?
No,
No, is it Maegor's?
it is not.
No. Is it Aenys?
No.
I don't remember reading it. Is it in this chapter? Because I don't remember reading it.
No.
Okay.
Just a part of Targaryenness in general.
Jaehaerys.
No.
Viserys.
No.
The other Viserys.
No.
The other Jaehaerys.
No.
No, I don't know. What's the deal? Is that from Valyria?
No. So I think I've told you a few times in all the Targaryen stuff, I really favor the stories about the Blackfires and the Blackfire rebellions.
Okay. Yep.
And the Blackfires are a branch of House Targaryen. They're the bastard branch.
Right.
And one of the kings, several down the line here, legitimizes all of his bastards on his deathbed.
Okay.
And gives the sword Blackfire to one of his bastards.
Right.
And so it starts this whole thing between the Targaryens and the Blackfires, where the Blackfires are constantly attacking, starting a war, rallying a bunch of support, and then slinking off somewhere, then coming back with more support, attacking again.
Then
And some of
waves.
the battles are pretty intense. By the last couple, they get to be kind of sad attempts,
Mhm.
but the first few are pretty epic.
Okay.
The realm's pretty divided on that. So, but yeah, so when I was like, oh well, I'll just get a Targaryen sigil for my background today, and I was like, oh, I want one with the main one and the Blackfires on there.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I was going to ask you where you got that one because I was thinking about stealing it
Yeah,
because
a lot of bastards.
I haven't changed mine since never.
A lot of bastards, they'll take their existing house banner and just reverse the colors. You know, so if it was, let's say it was a Lannister bastard, he might have a sigil of his own that was a red lion on a gold field.
Right.
So
Okay. Cool. Little history lesson there. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, a little something.
Thank you.
We'll get up to some of those Blackfire rebellions. We'll run on to those eventually.
And best in due time.
Yeah, but we'll have to talk more about like the Hedge Knight and stuff like that. I mean, if we've still got some time to burn, which we will,
Oh, we'll have some time.
once we get through this, we could start in on that. And that covers, I think, at least one of them. But Fire and Blood 2 will be coming at some point, and we should get a lot of at least a few of the rebellions during that. I don't know how far that's going to cover. I think there's only 2 parts, so hopefully we'll get the rest of it there. But yeah, so for today's, I just kind of wanted to have, kind of a free discussion about the chapter. It's all about up to the point where we stop, which is right after Aenys' death. It just kind of covers the last of Aegon's life, his 2 sons, and some of the things that kind of followed Aegon's death.
Right.
So he's got the 2 kids, only 2, Aenys and Maegor. Aenys is a kid with Rhaenys, and then Maegor was his kid with Visenya.
Mm-hmm.
They are 5 years apart in age, I believe. Aenys is the older one.
Correct. And
they couldn't be more different, right?
Well, I mean, look from their births. Maegor was healthy, strong, whereas Aenys, they weren't even sure if he was going to make it. He came out all sickly, and for sure, they are definitely different.
And I feel like, kind of thinking about it now too, that they kind of take after their mothers in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Visenya was the warrior queen, and Rhaenys was
free
a little more gentle. Yeah, she was a warrior, but also, not really like Visenya. Visenya is scary. Like, Rhaenys is more approachable.
Right.
But yeah, they both have like very different upbringings, Aenys is the oldest, and so when Aegon does his royal processions, they do every year, Aenys goes with him every year, and is kind of, he's brought up to be king. He's the firstborn. Maegor is 5 years younger, and he grows up kind of just with sword in hand, he's taught to fight really young. Visenya even gives him Dark Sister down the road, I think when he was 13.
Yeah, he was still pretty young. Yeah.
Yeah. He's knighted at 16, the youngest knight at that point. I'm sure there were several others that I can't think of right off, but I know Jaime Lannister was knighted at like 15 or something.
Let's say he was pretty young too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they talk about how Aenys also like, grew up learning to fight, but I don't know, he's not the same as Maegor. Like
He's just
Maegor
not a
lives
warrior.
for war, yeah.
Yeah.
And Aenys is more into the arts.
Right.
So and that's a big deal in Westeros.
Right.
People find it a lot easier to follow a warrior king or a warrior lord. So
well, especially after the Westeros has been conquered by Aegon, things are still kind of they're still warm a little bit, and you're gonna see, I mean, as soon as Aegon, dies, I mean, these rebellions start popping up quick. And so I feel like it takes a while before you can have a person like Aenys be ruler, where it's like he's just more kind of political and kind of chilled out. He's not a warrior. He's not somebody to be feared. Whereas like Maegor, again, like you said, he's the fearsome one. He's the warrior. He's the strong one. He probably would have been better off, being coming right after Aegon to still kind of like temper everything and the rebellions and kind of cool everything down until some of those generations maybe died off that lived through the conquest.
yeah, people are still hot for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
A lot of these families want revenge, for people who stood against House Targaryen during the conquest. But what kind of like blows my mind is like it's not so far separated, that people could kind of forget about how this all happened. But there's still only one dragon has been killed and many more have been born.
Right.
So the biggest dragon and the second largest dragon are both still there, I don't know why anybody thought any of this would work,
Yep. But it was kind of the same thing when I was watching Game of Thrones and, she comes over on her dragon. They have their first little, use of the dragon in Westeros. And so it's like, word's going to spread like wildfire. It's like, okay, they're back. The dragons are back, or a dragon is back, at least. Well, she had two of them. So yeah. So both of them are back. So it's like, but yet you're still going to go out there and you're still going to challenge. It's like, what's going to happen, man. I mean, they can easily wipe out your entire army within a matter of seconds or minutes just with those dragons,
Right. And their two dragons are probably twice the size that Dany's are at that time in Game of Thrones. Like they're not, dragons never stop growing.
Right.
Like as long as they have the room for it, they'll always get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right.
So that's just, I don't know how anybody thought this was a good idea. Some people are young enough to have like been there, or like seen some of these things happen or hear the stories from people who were there. So Balerian's big enough that you can ride a horse down his throat comfortably. Like, I don't get it. They melted Harrenhal, a complete, like a, indestructible castle. Just melted it. Like, I don't.
No, we'll be fine in our armor. We'll be fine.
Yeah, I just don't get it. People's pride
Mhm.
is amazing in this world, you know? Honor
Mhm.
is everything.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of these lords would rather see their entire house burn than, bend the knee to the dragons. So,
Right. Yep.
did you notice in this chapter there's a couple times they mention a child not doing very well, a Targaryen child, just not either not being socially comfortable or, in the case with Amy's, having a lot of physical problems. And then once they're presented with a dragon like hatchling that they can bond with, things usually kind of start to turn around for them.
I was gonna say, wasn't it one of his sisters
Yeah.
that
Well,
she
no,
was
it was Amy's with Quicksilver, and then it was his daughter.
oh his daughter, that's right.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, his
Uh
daughter Raina
Raina, yeah.
with Dreamfire.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting. But I mean, when I don't know how far back it goes, but when you've been so connected with dragons, you probably prefer them over people. I don't
yeah.
know. It is interesting though, but I did catch on to that for sure. What you looking up?
Just wanted to check. Okay. Um. So, are you recognizing any of these dragon names?
I mean, yeah, there's a few that I recognize. I don't recognize was it Quicksilver? I don't recognize
Yeah,
that one.
Quicksilver. I don't know how long he
What was
lived.
what were the other two that were at his funeral that joined in the pyre?
Silver Wing and Vermithor.
Okay, I know Vermithor, but I've never heard of Silverwing.
Okay. What do you remember about Vermithor?
I just remember that name. That's the only thing I remember.
Okay. That is Jaehaerys's dragon.
Okay.
Aenys' third son.
Okay.
And he's the one who, eventually becomes king here before
Right.
Viserys and House of the Dragon.
Right.
And that's his dragon. We get to see that dragon in House of the Dragon. When Damon goes, I don't want to say dragon again. When Damon goes to
Dragon.
Dragonstone,
It's a drinking game.
yeah, when they're talking about how they're going to have to, get all the dragons together for the war and everything,
Yeah.
and Vermithor is there on the island.
Okay.
That's when he goes in singing. He's like singing in
Oh,
Valyrian.
oof. Woo. Yeah, it's an old dragon.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I don't remember what happened. What?
Have you rewatched season one yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah, me either. Okay.
No. I feel it like on the horizon,
Mm,
Like
yeah.
sometimes I'll be flipping through and I'm like, ooh, maybe. I did watch a couple random episodes of Game of Thrones the other day.
Really? Okay. Which
Yeah.
ones?
Season I think maybe the last couple episodes of season one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But just like randomly, I was like, I don't have anything that I want to watch right now. So, you're just scrolling and it's like Game of Thrones. Like, okay. I find myself scrolling through like the HBO tab a lot, because I
Right.
have all my
Yeah.
stuff connected. So, like, even on other ones, it'll be like, oh, you want to watch this on HBO?
Yeah.
Yes, I do want to watch Westworld season one again. Yes, I do.
And hey, when you're done, you want to watch the music video for Pneumonia Hawk? How did you know? What was the other one? There was another one I thought. Didn't you say there was something else the other day that was like, hey, you should listen to this now, or you should watch that now?
I don't remember. I remember talking
Yeah, I
about
can't remember
Pneumonia
either.
Hawk. I
Yeah,
always get served at Pneumonia Hawk.
Yeah, there was something I think yesterday when we were talking.
Oh, Every Time I Die.
Maybe that was it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's always like, you want to listen to Radical again? Yes,
Yeah,
I
there you go.
do.
Radical.
Damn it.
Yes. Not to get off
Yeah.
topic again, but you got a cat fight going on over there? What's happening?
Oh, just Sassy being crazy.
Okay.
So yeah, some of these dragons, we see in House of the Dragon, and they're huge.
Rahok, yes, yeah.
Vermithor, Dreamfire. Dreamfire is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Vagar, which is
Right.
horrifying.
Somebody stole Vagar. Wake up. Wake up.
So some crazy asses stolen Vagar.
We've been robbed.
Okay, so then just kind of moving on. Both of the boys get married eventually. They don't really have that issue of the Targaryen incestuous marriage, because there's just the two sons. So there's no
they're supposed to
daughters.
marry each other.
Well, that's not going to help with furthering their line. So
how's this going to work?
So then Aenys gets married to Alyssa Velaryon, and Maegor marries Selyse Hightower. I feel like if I gotta pick out of the two of these, I'm probably going Velaryon, because you already have a pretty close relation with that house. They're your master of ships. They're Valyrian. I mean, there's.
Well, do we
many
want? I mean,
reasons.
do we want to say or not that? I mean, she's going to give you children, whereas the other one unfortunately won't.
Well, did you not?
At least at this point.
Okay. Did you not? Were you not able to kind of see that the problem isn't Maegor's wives?
Oh,
it's Maegor. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and so he just like blames it on her,
All that stress.
Yeah.
And anger built up.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
The Targaryens repeat a lot of the same stuff over and over. But there's a lot of similarities between Aenys and Viserys and Maegor and Daemon.
Okay.
They have a similar relationship. And
I was about to say the same thing about Aenys and Maegor compared to Viserys and Daemon's relationship. There's definitely some connections there.
Yeah, for
similar things, yeah.
And Aenys and Alyssa are just popping out all these kids, which is just kind of feeding this discontent that Maegor has. I feel like, well,
it's putting them further and further down the line, basically.
Yeah, and I think it's a reflection of like how he's not able to, yeah. So I think it hurts him on a lot of levels. But in, similar to Daemon, he respects Aenys' rule, after
Right.
Aegon dies, like he doesn't go
They can
against
go
him,
after him. Yeah. He
you
just, yeah.
know? So yeah. The kids are important. At least a couple of them. They have 6 kids in all, Aenys and Alyssa. Rhaena's the oldest, then Aegon, Viserys, Jaehaerys, Alysanne, and then I can't remember the name of their youngest, but she didn't make it past like a few weeks or something.
Right.
So, but Jaehaerys and Alysanne are the ones who, really matter the most going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Have you not read the second part of this chapter?
Wait. Didn't you miss a kid?
I don't think so.
Which
Right.
two of his kids get married?
Jaehaerys and Alysanne. And
Why
then
did I
there's
think are you sure?
and then there's Rhaena, Aegon, and Viserys that are all the older ones.
I thought Aegon and Alicena.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Positive?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, now you've got me questioning myself.
I think it is Aegon, dude. I'm pretty sure. That's what I'm looking up right now. Just keep talking. I'll come back to you.
I know he proposed. No, okay, so a marriage was proposed between. Okay, I'm remembering now. A marriage was proposed between Aegon and Rhaena because Rhaena's older. She's 18, he's 15, she's a dragon rider, he's not. And then the faith was super against that. And it doesn't matter anyway because Aegon gets killed in this second part of the chapter, bro.
No. It is Aegon, bro. Damn, where's okay, wow. Come on. I'm almost there.
It doesn't make sense because Aegon's like 15 and Alysanne would be like 7 or something, like 6 or 7.
Just keep talking. I'm kind of reading here.
I mean, I'm like 100% on this, man. It was Aegon to Rhaena. That was the one that pissed everybody off. And then Aegon goes to fight Maegor after everything. Like after Maegor takes the crown and stuff, Aegon goes to fight him and gets killed. And Jaehaerys, and I can't remember what happens to Viserys, but Jaehaerys and Alysanne, they go on. And he's the one who takes the throne eventually.
Aegon. Let's see. Hold on. Dang it. Where'd I go now? Sorry, I was going backwards and I read forward a little bit. And now I'm trying to go back to this one port. Because, okay, so. The affection between Rhaena and Aegon was well known, and neither raised any objection to the marriage. Indeed, there is much to suggest that both have been anticipating just such a partnership since they had first played together in the nurseries of Dragonstone and the Aegon Fort. Because then at the wedding between the two of them, Aenys makes that dumb mistake by granting the title Prince of Dragonstone to his presumptive heir, Prince Aegon. The hush fell over the hall at those words, for all present knew that the title had hitherto belonged to Prince Maegor.
Yeah, so did you do all that to tell me I'm right?
What did you say? I don't even remember what you said now.
I said Aegon and Rhaena because originally I was talking about Jaehaerys. You asked me which two got married, and I said Jaehaerys and Alysanne get married. And
was that in the part that we read? Like,
I thought it was Aegon, and I said Aegon
yeah, but that's
and Rhaena get married. Yeah, so
I understand that. Now that's what I'm asking though: is did we read in this part of the chapter? Because I don't remember. I only remember reading that.
No.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Don't confuse me on the stuff that I read and I haven't read.
Well, that's why I was confused because I was like, well, the marriage between Aegon and Rhaena doesn't matter because Aegon gets killed pretty fast here.
Okay.
So Jaehaerys and Alysanne are the ones that matter, but 4 out of 5 kids all marry each other.
All of that for nothing.
You'll have to.
Who's going to marry that dead kid, man?
And then before Aegon dies, the last big thing he really focuses on is starting to
the original
set up,
or the new one?
Aegon the First.
Okay.
I
only asked because we were just talking about Aegon the Second. So.
Well, and I think they do this by which ones actually rule, because they call Aegon in House of the Dragon Aegon the Second, and his younger half brother or whatever is Aegon the Third. So I think they only do it by which ones actually rule.
Okay.
Because Aegon the actual second here dies before he could ever take the throne. So I think that's how they do that. After Aegon's death, Blackfyre is not necessarily a right to rule, but a lot of people see it as that. Kind of case in point with the Blackfyres over here, because Daemon Blackfyre has the sword Blackfyre, a lot of houses view him as the true ruler. It was Aegon's sword, it's the symbol of his rule.
Right. Like a crown, basically.
Yeah, kind of. And Maegor finds himself with both swords because when Aenys,
another blunder of Aenys
takes the throne, he gives Blackfyre to Maegor, just kind of as a peace gesture,
I don't really need this. It's just collecting
he's
dust.
not going to use it. Yeah.
What am I going to use this?
It's kind of like Viserys having it. Viserys was never a warrior, and for him to have it and Daemon to not have it is kind of weird.
Right.
Dark Sister's awesome, and a lot of people who've had Dark Sister were pretty great warriors, but
right.
My favorite, Blood Raven. And then pretty short into Aenys' reign, like you were saying, rebellions just break out everywhere.
Basically, almost immediately.
Yeah,
it feels like.
And it's a lot of the places that were holdouts during the conquest.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The Vale, the Iron Islands, Dorne, and Harrenhal.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, in Dorne, we're back again with what we're always talking about, how a brother to a king can't just be like, awesome, I get all the benefits of being a king without really having to do much work. They can't just be satisfied with that. They literally have to have the title king,
Right. Brother King.
Yeah,
King brother.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound good.
It just got all of them killed. So,
Mm-hmm.
that was one thing, they kind of pop up and they talk randomly about how the different things that Magor does. Um, During the rebellions, he goes in on Balerion, and um, it's usually enough for people to be like, "Oh, okay, yep, we're done." Yeah. One of the Blackfire rebellions kind of ended that way too. It's like before things even get going, there's an army outside the conspirators' gates, so it's like, okay, like what do we do?
Can we help you with something? We're not doing anything.
um yeah, and all those rebellions get put down in time, but Magor's out there assertively,
I was about to say,
actively trying to end them.
right. The biggest difference between those two, or even Aenys and his dad, is his dad would go out there and do it himself. He would go out there on the battlefield. And Aenys is not, now I'm good. You go, yeah, you go do it,
Yeah.
Trusty servant, you ride off and put down, this rebel king, or whatever.
Right. And like he's at River Run when they get word about, I can't remember which one it is, if it's Harrenhal maybe.
I think it's Harrenhal, yeah.
But then whoever the Lord was, Tully, one of the Tullys, um he asked for him, to take Silverwing or Quicksilver out and torch him. And
Yeah.
instead, he was like, actually, how about you call in all your banners and then you guys go take care of it?
I don't really feel like it. So why don't you guys go? Yeah, you guys go do that. Sounds like a great idea,
Yeah. Like, you guys go
you're
take
right.
care of it.
It's like, and that doesn't make any sense because it's like, dude, the amount of lives you could save on your end, for your allies and yourself and everything by just, even at some points, like you said, it's like just showing up on that dragon could put it down, put the rebellion down.
Yeah.
But no, and Visenya kept doing it over and over. I mean, when they had the problems with the faith, she kept telling us, like, go to Old Town and set the place ablaze. Nah, I don't really want to do that. It's like,
Yeah.
really? You got to assert yourself. At some point, you have to assert yourself.
Yeah.
You can't be. And the biggest thing that we read is his indecisiveness. He's so indecisive, and he ends up making himself look older because he stresses himself out on just trying to figure out what to do in these small little situations where it's like it's being presented to you right here and right now. It's like, get on your dragon and go ride, and go put out the fires like your dad did or like your brother's doing for you.
Yeah.
So,
but it's just not who he is.
No, it's just not my thing. It's not my style.
Post rebellions, Magor takes his second wife. He takes, I think, at least 3 in total, like at the same time.
Does he ever have any kids?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
His second wife was, I don't remember what her first name was. Alice, maybe? Haraway? Yeah, Haraway's her house. And all that kind of blows up in his face. The faith condemns it. Aenys also kind of condemns it and tells him he can either divorce her or deal with 5 years of exile. And so he takes the exile.
Is it just me though, or is that just like weird choices? At least the exile part. I wouldn't expect in the exile part. Of course, again, we're dealing with, Aenys, so It's kind of the
I
chilled back
mean,
version.
this is another.
Or I'm going to
This
put you
is
in timeout.
this is
Okay, I'll
another
do the timeout, I guess.
relation to House of the Dragon. It's Viserys and Daemon.
Yeah.
Viserys banishes him
Mm.
there for a while, and when they're talking about how he took Balerion, he took Blackfire, and his
Well, the
Haraway
eggs or
wife.
the eggs, yeah.
I mean, that makes me think of Damon,
Mm.
leaving with, was it Larissa? I don't remember her name.
Who, the annoying lady?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I just remember her as annoying lady.
Um,
Di Django da be da dee do. It's like, oh my god, what are you speaking right now?
and then he also, of course, Damon has Dark Sister when he
Mm.
leaves. So a lot of similarities.
And he's got an egg.
Yeah. Um, and then, yeah, that's when, we were talking about the marriages between the kids.
Mm.
The faith condemns pretty much all of
The
that,
right to. Yeah.
They're afraid of Aegon. They made it work with him, but they're not really afraid of his kids and grandkids. So,
Well, would you be afraid of
um,
Aenies?
no, but I'm not stupid. And I know the threat of the dragons is still out
True.
there.
This is true. Yeah.
That even if Aenys isn't willing to do something, Visenya or
Mhm.
Maegor might.
Or Magor, yeah.
So, not good. But the faith militant is kind of a scarier thing at this time.
This is true, yeah.
It reminds me a lot of the Night's Watch, how,
Mm.
it used to be manned by all these guys who were just like the best swordsmen, these top guys from big houses. It was an honor, a lot of knights. And now, well, I guess not a lot of knights because they're made up of mostly Northerners, and there
Right.
are no knights in the North. Um,
We're savages.
no, it's just a custom that they don't do.
Yeah.
Like being knighted is like a Southern thing.
It's a royalty.
Um, and yeah, with the faith militants, like, when they're talking about the warriors' sons, 700 knights,
Mm.
yeah, with that group. That's, yeah, a lot of guys from big houses.
Right.
And then, of course, by the time we see both groups in Game of Thrones, they're pretty diminished.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Um, and so, yeah, that marriage between Aegon and Rhaena is condemned. And for some reason, Aenys thinks it's a good idea to have them do a little royal tour, but without their dragons.
Stupid.
Yeah, no safety net. Um,
I think
this
they
is
pay for it because they basically become prisoners.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That's the
Well,
best
they're
way to put
they're
it.
just stuck there. They can't leave.
Yeah. We know what they are.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they're not really prisoners. It's like they're there and they're safe, but they can't get out.
Mm. Mhm. Oh, I get you. I get you.
Well, because of the people outside,
Political prisoners.
kind of, I guess. Um, and then Aenys dies before any of this conflict with the faith is wrapped up.
Right.
Um, you know, he's only like 35 or something
Mhm. Yeah,
whenever
because
he
they talked
dies.
about it's like he's in his 30s, but he looks like he's 60 or 70. That's what I was referring to earlier about, his indecisiveness over the years. And then now at this time when they escape, um, the Red Keep, or what was the Red Keep at that time. You know, it was under construction and everything. And they went to Dragonstone. You know, Aegon and Rhaena were wherever they were,
On
trapped
tour.
on tour. Well, at that point though, it's like they were trapped in the place that they were. They weren't able to get out.
Yeah.
And so he's sitting there worried about that, and just everything is just coming crashing down on him, you know. And I'm sure at the same time too is like, man, I've following my dad, you know, I've ruined what he's put up, you know. The realm is crumbling and such, you know.
Yeah.
So
Could have all
and
been
then
prevented.
he dies. Yeah, this is true.
And then on Annie's death there, Maegor immediately returns from exile.
What they say was like, wasn't even like an hour after his death, she left to go get him.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you know, there's no time to waste when you got all the problems that you do with rebellions and now the faith and, you know, the warrior sons and everything like that. Is like, yeah, there's no time to waste. We gotta set things right, or our house is done.
And so pretty quick there, Maegor takes over by force.
Poor Maester Gawain.
Man, who was I forget the name of the Maester in House of the Dragon that got his head smashed in.
Yeah, I don't remember. A poor guy.
Oh, Crazy Cole.
Well, I think of the Maester up in Winterfell. When was it Lewin? Yeah.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that takes us pretty much to our stopping point here, because the whole next episode is going to be all about Maegor. So,
all about Maegor. Yeah.
Maegor
so
the Cruel.
I had a couple of things I was going to say was Holy War, because that always ends well. I forgot to insert that just a little bit ago, but yeah. And then there was a name, Samwell Tarly, or otherwise known as Savage Sam, that came up, and I thought that was pretty funny, comparing to the Samwell in because he was Tarly, wasn't he? Samwell Tarly in Game of Thrones. Yeah. I was like,
and his nickname was Sam the Slayer.
Yeah. But I mean, just like his character though, and everything was like, that's totally opposite from what this guy is. At least throughout the episode, you know, or out the show. Yeah. But then the other thing I was going to talk about was there was a quote when he was talking in the book, when he was talking about the Vulture King in Dorne. And I still haven't really figured out what it is in this quote that like makes me think of this. But like when I was reading, I got to this part where he puts it in parentheses, and George R.R. Martin says, in later years, several other men would take the title Vulture King, but whether they were of the same blood as the first, no man can say. And I don't know really what it was, but just like reading that part right there, it just like hit me as like, man, I don't know. George R.R. Martin just makes it feel like it's so real to me. Like reading,
he's a great
just
writer.
Like reading this, he's a great writer where it's like, it feels like I'm really reading like a history book, you know? And it's little things like that, little notes like that, or when he talks about, you know, or like we'll talk about in the next episode with Maegor, when it's like he faces, you know, the warrior sons, and they pick, you know, he picks out, you know, some guys, and they pick out some guys, and then they have a battle or whatever. And it's like I can't remember exactly how he says it, but something about like, you know, the history books have been passed down to us to say that it was, you know, so and so and so and so and so, and just that old like old language writing, you know.
Well,
It
it's
really makes it
all,
feel real.
yeah, this whole book is written from Maester's
Right.
perspectives, you know?
Right.
So,
Hmm.
like, from a guy in their world writing a history book. So,
Right.
yeah, for sure. No, it's great writing.
That was all I had.
Okay. All right. Well, the next episode is all about Magor. So make sure you come back for that one. We're going to start ramping up here with some of the Targaryens going into the dance. So
On the next episode of the Throne of the Dragon podcast, we cover all about the reign of Maegor.
it'd be the Targaryen known as Magor.
The Targaryen known as Maegor. Follow us on Twitter now. Anyway. And without further
Um,
ado, let's start that show.
oh God.
The devil is in it. Anyway.
Oh my God.
In like a minstrel version. That'd be cool. Anyway, go ahead.
You done? You got it all out?
I do.
Okay. If you want to listen to the parts before this, you can find it under Is Survived by Productions on our YouTube and Spotify. We also have a couple other shows. We've got the History of the Cores and the History of the Cores After Hour podcasts. Both cover the history of bands from different core genres. So if you're a music person, make sure to go check those out. We also have another show all about the Peaky Blinders called the Red Right Hand podcast. So if you're looking for a new show or you're looking for an in-depth rewatch podcast that's pretty much spoiler-free throughout. Yeah, I think so. It's pretty much spoiler-free. Especially those first few seasons there. But then make sure to check that out. You can follow us on Twitter. It is Survived by Productions. And you can follow me on my personal at Joshua Lynn Gary. And I think that's it. That's all of them. I hope that's all of them. We'll see you guys next time.